Yes, Ricky, prayers going up. According to TMZ, Jackie made a post where she was in Miami to get a mommy makeover with Miami's Dr. Zach. Now, the official cause of death.
We have plastic surgeon Dr. Nicholas Jones. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. Now, for those who may not, yes, sir, happy to have you. And for everybody that may not be familiar with cosmetic procedure terms, what exactly is a mommy makeover, and what are the potential risks to women?
Okay, so a mommy makeover is any combination of procedures that a woman may undergo, and typically is after your childbearing years, or after you've had your children, or you're older and you're just trying to get your body back to your younger years. And the most common combination is probably a breast procedure and something in the trunk. And so one, I would say the most common would be like an abdominoplasty or a tummy tuck, and like a breast augmentation. But there are so many different types of combinations. This is really curtailed to the individual patient.
So what causes complications, doctor, with cosmetic surgery? What's some of the things that causes complications?
So there are lots of things. So the first and foremost, it starts in the preoperative phase. So basically, as a patient, you want to make sure you inform your doctor of all your underlying medical conditions, any complications that you had with previous surgeries. And so that way your surgeon can decide what is safe for you. So in this specific case, it was very unfortunate, and obviously we don't know what happened. But when someone dies immediately or during the surgery or right after, there's a select few things. Like intraoperatively or on the table, I would say the most common reason would be anesthesia related. And that could be from, medications. Like, for example, there are certain medications that they use during surgeries, and some of them can cause an immediate drop in your blood pressure. So if you have underlying cardiac issues, it can lead to myocardial infarcts or heart attack. Other things include like pulmonary embolisms. And so basically what that would be is, let's say you develop a clot in your leg. The clot goes into your vena cava, or your large veins to your heart. It blocks the oxygenation of your lungs to the blood flow, and that can lead to death. And there's it really depends on what type of procedure you have. The longer the operation, the more likely you are to have complications. But I would say the most common cause of sudden death would be anesthesia-related, sudden cardiac event, or if you're having certain procedures, for example, if you're having a Brazilian butt lift and a fat is placed within the muscle, the fat can go into your venous system, and the fat can travel into your heart and cause an immediate blockage of the blood vessels, and that can lead to an immediate death.
Wait a minute, doctor. So if you taking their own fat and putting it somewhere else, and the fat can get into the vein, how? So the procedure is done carefully and by a certified, plastic surgeon. Is highly unlikely, but if the fat is placed below the muscle, so if you look at someone's butt, their skin, and underneath the skin is the subcutaneous tissue or the fat. So that is where the fat is supposed to go. When this procedure was initially started, the fat was being placed within the muscle. And so within the muscle are the vessels, the veins and the arteries. And so if you're putting fat under there blindly, you can injure those muscles. That can go into the vein goes into your vein, the fat travels to your heart, and while it's in the venous system, it's causing inflammation. The fat globules get mixed with your plasma, and it gets bigger and bigger, and eventually it can block off the pulmonary artery, which returns blood back to your lungs so it can become oxygenated. If that happens, immediate death can pursue.
How are you doing, y'all? Now, in the latest news coming in this exact moment in time, this young fly's partner, Miss Jacky Oh, who died as a result of complications from cosmetic surgery after she complained about her head burning just hours before she passed on. It's now been officially confirmed that her cause of death was as a result of complications from cosmetic surgery, which she actually did in May. According to the autopsy report that has been obtained by a couple of media personnel, most especially from TMZ and Page 6, it's believed that Miss Jacky Oh, who flew from Miami in May to undergo a procedure where she had a liposuction and a fat being transferred onto her butt, which is commonly known as a BBL by that popular doctor called Dr. Zark. The surgery was completed in May, that was on 30th, and of course Miss Jacky Oh was prescribed. This is what is according to the official autopsy. So it's what I'm trying to derive and dig through. It's believed that she was prescribed Cliprofloxacin, which is an antibiotic, and then Oxycodone, a painkiller, and of course another one which is known as Ondansetron, which is actually for anti-nausea. Shortly after, the 30-year-old, they are saying that she began to get a headache, returning to the surgeon, that is Dr. Zark, for a post-operative appointment. And of course, she then decided to get a massage. Like everyone else who is actually going through a bit of pain, she opted for a massage to help her alleviate that pain. And she was even advised by Dr. Zark to take ibuprofen and actually to stop taking Ondansetron, that medicine which she had earlier been prescribed. So on the night of 31st May, Jacky began to feel her head was burning and she began to have difficulty speaking. And of course, she was with her auntie, who called 911, but Jacky went unresponsive before the paramedics arrived, and she was pronounced dead at around 11 p.m. Very devastating news at the time the story broke. TMZ broke it, and everyone was really asking what really went wrong to Miss Jacky Oh. So the autopsy report states Jacky had a swelling in her brain and an extensive bleeding of the skin around her torso. It's really, I think she really had a lot of pain. And since a deleted social media post before Jacky passed on, the Dr. Zara claimed that he was really professional. He knew what he was doing, and actually he even stated that all his services are really of the highest quality medical care. It was really very heartbreaking for this young fly, the husband, who, because he never expected the passing on of Miss Jacky Oh, and of course he came out online and said that he will love Jacky Oh forever, and she's the greatest mother. In this moment in time, all we can say is continue resting in power the queen that is Miss Jacky Oh.